We have to talk about silver. At the beginning of the week, I told you we're going to have a decision where the silver price is going to go Thursday or Friday. Well, it's Thursday. The decision is here. So today we're going to talk about silver, and we're going to talk, very important, about the factors that are influencing the silver price right now and what they indicate where silver will go next. Really important show if you're into silver and the silver miners. Let's get right into it. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day, your show for swing trading ideas for the coming days, weeks, and month. Welcome to Hot Trades of the Day. My name is Daniel Wilhelmi. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It would be really kind of you would hit the subscribe button if you like the content, and I think you will. Let's jump right into silver. I told you in the beginning of the week that silver, the decision for silver, which direction the silver price is going to happen Thursday or Friday, and then we're probably going to have Monday or Tuesday as a follow-through to confirm the move in either direction. Well, we have the move, the initial move, and it's to the downside, which I also told you in these videos was the higher probability that we would go down. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know I'm a silver bull. I'm a huge silver bull mid to long term. We're going to talk about why in upcoming videos. But right now, this does not look good. We clearly, if this holds today, and again, this is European trading, what you see here on the charts right now, Wall Street is just going to come in. But boy, I mean, come on. The Wall Street shorts, they're sitting on all these silver short positions. I mean, they are dancing in the trading rooms right now. So, assuming this holds, this is as bad as it can get for silver technically. We established the breakdown below the 50, and we broke the uptrend that led the rally since mid-March. As you can see in the RSI, we're completely losing any buying dynamic that we built up over the past weeks. So again, the probability that silver is going to go lower is much, much higher than we're going to get a break to the upside. Why is that? Well, the reason is that the factors that are influencing the silver price are all of them looking bad. It's even worse for the silver miners, but one step after another. And by the way, when I say it's worth for the silver miners, I'm loving this because I'm going to buy up all the silver miners I can get, because my price target for silver at 500 in this commodity super cycle still stands. Actually, it got strengthened in the past month and a half. So let's start with the factors that are influencing gold and silver. And we're going to start with the dollar. Nobody's talking about this, but the dollar is jumping back above the 200-day moving average, this golden line that you see right here. This is the Dixie, so it's the dollar against the currency basket where the euro makes up 50%. Don't ask me why. It's the euro. Should make up 5%. I live here, I can tell you. But it is what it is. The dollar is starting to regain strength. You can clearly see it. We're clearly forming a bottoming formation here. Look at this nice hammer. Nice bottoming formation. And the key here is basically 99. If we climb over 99, 99.4, I would say. Yeah. That would mean that we would take out this horizontal resistance zone, even more important, the downtrend, and we would jump above the 50. So if that happens, you're going to see a rush for gap fill and parity. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen fast. What happens when the dollar goes up? Well, then we have the inverse relationship with gold. Gold is going to go down, and it's going to drag silver down with it because the technicals of silver are already weak. So a dollar strength is a factor that will lead to selling. Now, we're not there yet, but as you can clearly see, the downward move in the dollar, that was a major supporting factor for the gold and silver up move. You can't really call it a rally. Up move has been stopped, right? So keep an eye on the dollar. I've said this before. Second point, oil. Well, that's not looking great if you're going to drive to work every day. Oil clearly formed a bottom. As you can see, the support zone that we drew in turned out to be pretty accurate, right? Fell below it, moved right back in it. Held, sold off below it, triggered a lot of stops below the 50-day moving average. But then within 2 days, we're back above the support zone. And now the oil price is building strength. Not only that, we're starting to see a change in trend. Downtrend broken in oil, right? We made lower lows. Now we're really seeing the first signs of bigger strength in oil. Now, it's not a complete turnaround yet. For that, again, we would have to go to about 106.60, 107. Then we would would clearly close out this turnaround. But if you're an oil bear, man, you are sweating like you're in a Finnish sauna. Now, and the reason is geopolitical. That's the next factor. It's very clear to the markets now, you see it in the oil price, that Trump is not in control of the Iran war and the Strait of Hormuz. The Iranians hold all the cards. So Trump can extend the ceasefire as much as he wants. It doesn't mean anything. If the Iranians are not playing ball, he has nothing except empty threats, right? The classic taco, to follow up with. And that's what the market starts to realize. And the Iranians, in this position, why would they make any big concessions? They don't need to. And that means higher oil prices for longer, which I've been telling you on this channel is going to happen for weeks. Basically, after it got very obvious that this is not going to be a quick strike operation in Iran. And if you missed these videos, hit the subscribe button. This is important. So this is the next factor. So that means inflation will rise. Now, you probably already heard about it. The Fed is thinking about changing the indicator for the inflation. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous who's listening, that the markets even listen to the Fed inflation indicators, but whatever, or the official indicators that get put out. We all know and we can feel that the inflation is coming, right? The actual number is not important. Why inflation is a problem is that it changes the consumer behavior. And we're seeing rising food prices. We're definitely seeing rising gasoline prices. We're definitely seeing higher airfare prices. I was booking tickets to go to Warsaw. Woo! Okay. I mean, next time I'm going to take a skateboard, that's for sure. So it's there. What does that mean? That means that people will consume less because they will have less money, because they need to spend more money on the things that are really necessary, like putting food on the table and getting to work by car. Right? They can skip the summer vacation, which, by the way, not great if you're looking at shorts. You might want to look at these companies that do a lot of summer activities. Looking at you, Disney. If you know, you know. If you followed the newsletter, I've talked about Disney a month ago as an interesting candidate on the short side. And by the way, you can sign up for the newsletter for free. Link is in the comments, or just go to bullmarketlifestyle.com. Again, it's free. We're not going to spam you. It's going to be good content. Quite honestly, I'm 2 weeks behind the last video. I'm sorry about that. You know, I've been traveling like a madman. it's coming this weekend. So, okay, so all the factors that influence gold and silver right now in the recent time have been bad, right? If the oil price stays high, inflation stays high, the interest rate cuts that gold was anticipating are not going to happen that fast. They're going to come because of midterm elections, right? But they're not going to come that fast. There's even could be fear sparking if oil establishes itself over 100, which that we haven't done, right? That is the next shocker in the oil market. So I'm not so worried if we get a surge to 110. What I'm worried about is this. This is basically right here is 100. And as you can see, we bounced above it a little bit here. I'm not even going to call this spike. That's not relevant. But this, right? But we weren't able to establish, the oil price wasn't able to establish itself over 100. But if it does now, right, what we see here is it has already established itself above 85. So the next step would be that it establishes itself over 100. And that is, by the way, gold for our energy stocks. And we here at Hot Trades of the Day have been on the energy train since last fall. We were really early on this. Those will be roaring back if we really get a move up in oil sustained over 100. That's when it will hit the news. That's when we get the next leg up on price increases, gasoline and jet fuel and all these beautiful things. And that'll be a problem for rate cuts or even maybe the possibility of short-term rate hikes, which I don't think so. I think that the Fed just going to sit par. But that is not good. Now, there's another factor that's even worse for the silver miners, and that is the stock market. Now, as you know, I've told you before, one of the big mistakes people make and don't understand is silver mining stocks, all they read is silver. Okay? What you need to read, the most important word is stocks in silver mining stocks. These are stocks. If the market goes down, the stock market goes down, and silver and gold do nothing, the mining stocks will go down. They are stocks. A lot of them are on the riskier side, the exploration stocks, I'm not even talking about the prospect generators. Uranium, by the way, look at uranium stocks. We're going to talk about those soon. Very strong. Lithium and all these more speculative, riskier mining stocks, they're going to get dragged down if it's a risk-off environment. Now, we have had short squeezes, retail by the dip. I'm not so sure if that was the smartest idea ever, but let's not make their problem our problem. Technical follow-through buying, right? Mostly led by the software sector. This is the QQQs, the NASDAQ. As you can see, incredible rally, basically 100 points in, what is this? Not even a month. Yeah, in like 3 weeks, right? So we are overdue for a breather. As you can see, we're extended in the RSI. This is the highest level we have been to since last September. But what's more important is that we're coming up on the upper end of the long-term uptrend channel. I need to switch to the weekly for this real quick to show this to you. Here we go. So as you can see, this is what we're talking about. This is the long-term uptrend channel that has been in place basically it started with the end of the 2022 bear market. So this is what we're talking about. As you can see here, we're right here. We're very close of doinking off the upper end, which we did in November, and that led to the consolidation, which all these crazies on YouTube called the crash of the century and the Armageddon and everything is going to burn and whatever. Yeah, that didn't really happen. Where are all these brilliant crash predictors now? So there's not much room left in the stock market to go up. And we have earnings season. So once the big tech week is over, where most of the Max 7s um, present their new numbers, and the semis are over. There's a lot of air out of the balloon, and there's not much happening. So the probability now favors us. Maybe we'll go up to about, maybe we have like 5 more points in the QQQs. So not even 1% to go up. Maybe we overshoot a little bit, but we don't have much room to the upside. Not with this RSI, and not with this wild rebound. So correction is very likely in the equity markets. Now, it might not be dramatic at all, right? That's not what I'm talking about. But what that means is that if we get weakness in silver, and it clearly looks like it, as I showed you, all the factors are pointing to it, and we get a stock market that is not going up and maybe consolidating a little bit lower, the silver miners is going to get hit. So if you have leverage in the silver miners, I would recommend to close that out. I am sitting on cash. I'm loving this setup because I know I'm going to get very likely really good buying opportunities in the gold and silver miners. And I want to be in either of them, especially silver. And the silver miners offer, in my opinion, great long-term upside, multi-bagger upside with the rise of silver and the fundamentals that are happening there that are getting more and more bullish for silver mid to long term, not short term, mid to long term. But that is the advantage that we have over the institutions. That's what a lot of retail people really have a hard time to understand. Once you figure out what the fundamentals are and what's really happening in this, for example, in the silver market, in the gold market, then you can be patient and you can buy on the pullbacks and you can hold these positions long term. The institutions can't do that. They think quarter to quarter because they want to get their bonuses. But that's one of the advantages that we have that we need to use and play out. So short-term volatility, I love it because that usually gives me buying opportunities within an overall mid to long-term trend that I'm convinced will play out in my favor, and therefore those corrections are good buying opportunities. But we need to understand when they're coming, and it looks like they're setting up in silver and the silver miners, gold and the gold miners as well, by the way. Also, if you have your energy stocks, you probably still sit pretty with those. So they're going to gain while the correction is coming through the mining sector. I wish I could have told you better news for silver, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. And here's the silver price again, right? Doesn't look good. But again, this will be our opportunity in the future. And we already, if you watched the recent videos, know where the downside targets are, how far I personally think the silver price will go. And then things will get really interesting and we will follow it here at Hot Trades of the Day. That's it for today. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.